Hello, everyone. My name is Kaiwen. Today, I will present our paper on child safety in smart home, parents' perceptions, needs, and mitigation strategies. Children are users of smart home technologies as families adopt these different devices for security, convenience, energy saving, and other purposes. However, there are issues around privacy, security, usability regarding children's smart home technology use. There are also news talk about children's safety issues with smart home technologies, such as security cameras being hacked and scare the children. Parents sit their children on Roomba, the cleaning robot, and there's the battery parts of smart button would pose choking hazard as threats for children. Meanwhile, it's also important to remember that child safety at home is one of the most important and conventional topics because home safety risks such as falls, burns, choking have been big threats to childhood safety. So it's really important to look into how parents manage children's safety in the smart home environment. Our research is motivated to understand parents' perceptions of children's safety in smart homes, the relating factors, and their mitigation strategies. We interviewed 23 parents who have children from toddlers to preteens. We mainly recruited through convenient sample and posting on Reddit. Overall, we found parents perceived both physical and digital safety risks with children's use of smart home technologies in 3 different phases. Parents also used different mitigation approaches to prevent or react to these different safety risks. We also found 6 relating factors that influence parent safety perceptions and mitigation approaches towards children's safety, smart home safety. I will talk about parents' perceptions and mitigations, the yellow part and the green part together in each of the 3 phases. To begin with, in phase 1, before parents purchase any smart home technologies, most of them were vigilant and thinking about safety considerations on 2 aspects, how they can avoid physical harms and minimize privacy and security risks. Here's a quote from P9. Generally, I wouldn't put something with my children that I feel was unsafe or would invite them to do things that were either physically dangerous or would kind of invite inappropriate experiences. Another parent said, I think that privacy, security, and safety and all of that rolled into one biggest concern for me. I don't necessarily want anyone else looking at my kids while they're sleeping. So parents would avoid buying any devices with motors, heat that can cause physical risks, and also choose to buy only trusted brands that rarely have any negative news. In phase 2, parents have 3 safety reevaluations once their children started to interact with different smart home technologies. Parents realized that physical safety incidents caused by a smart robot vacuum that ran over the child's toes. Parents also realized that children can be exposed to unsuitable content by smart speakers, like P12 here said. With a smart speaker, you can ask it all kinds of questions, and maybe if you mispronounce something, you get something else that's more adult-related content. Also, there's the risks from accidental misuse. The quote here in the middle, P20, the father said, let's say I'm in the shower and my son tells the smart water system to raise the temperature to 150 degrees and I could get burned by the water. So that risk is out there. Another parent, P16, they don't want their kids to be silly and saying, Alexa, open garage door. Reacting to these physical safety risks, parents used different mitigation strategies, including conventional child-proofing techniques, such as elevation, using physical barriers, and hiding the cords. Responding to the digital safety risks, parents were really selective about children's access to certain devices or functionalities. For instance, smart speakers can only be used in public spaces at home. For smart home control that are not directly linked to children's activities or experiences, parents choose not to tell children how certain controls work. Some parents used parental control that comes with the smart home technology to filter content and set passwords. They also set rules and boundaries to teach children. P22 said he told his children, hey, if you know that there's a camera in the room, we're not going to get dressed. Stay dressed. And if there's somebody yells out through the camera and scares the children, children should just unplug it. Beyond the immediate safety considerations and mitigations, parents also talk about the evolving safety need when children grow up, turn to preteen and teenagers, which is in phase 3. Parents proactively anticipated potential digital safety risks and the need to teach digital safety. P12 here said, we haven't had in-depth educational lessons yet on privacy and information security. I mean, as children get more uncontrolled access, we'll have to have more of these conversations. Parents also talk about the need to adapt parental rules to cater to children's independence. Like P11 said, if the kids got the Alexa speakers in the room in a more private setting, especially as they get older and they can start asking inappropriate questions or adult questions, I'll have to put a lot of thoughts into communicate with them at that time. There's a need to build a trusting relationship with their children, like P7 said. I can't control what they're going to download when they're 13. I have to let go and say, I've done the best I can. We also find 6 factors that's related to parents' perceptions and mitigations to children's smart home safety. This is parenting style. We see vigilant parents are more cautious about safety risks. Parents' tech-savviness, as less tech-savvy parents struggle to anticipate privacy and security risks. Parents' distrust and trust in tech companies. Parents' less trust will lead to non-adoption of devices or avoid children's use. Children's age and developmental differences. There's more safety concerns from parents with younger children's use. News and media, as security camera hacked news or negative news will alert parents for more cautious purchase and use. And the last one is device characteristics. For devices that have heat mechanic actions, like any CE or UL certification that's cloud-based, have minimum or to non-parental control features, these are all red flags to watch out for. Our findings have design implications regarding making child safety center design a default in smart home technologies, which consider children's well-being as a priority by changing the environmental and structural determinants, rather than delegating the gatekeeping responsibilities to parents and caregivers. So there's a lot of conventional home appliances that actually have a child lock and safety check. Allow granular parental control to avoid the current all or nothing control access, to provide the option to add a child profile to control very specific devices to a certain degree. Like P17 here said on the bottom. Let's say I wanted to give my son access to a smart thermostat. There should be an ability to add a child account that could only manipulate things by a few degrees or so. In terms of policy implications, parents also want companies to provide child safety educational resources, such as tutorials for parents. Like the example here, during the setup stage, there needs to be a prompt to ask about children's potential use. Several parents also highlight that smart home companies should be held accountable for being transparent about data practices because children's data are collected, like P14 said. As a parent, I would like more information on not just what the kids are doing on the smart speakers, but what is known about my kids. I would like the transparency from Google to say that profiling children exists, and I would like the ability to delete it. In summary, our paper contributes to identifying parents' perceptions, needs, and mitigation strategies of children's physical and digital safety risks in the smart home context that's evolved in 3 phases and accompanying 6 relating factors. Smart home amplifies the conventional physical and digital child safety risks. We also proposed a child safety center design approach for smart home products. Thank you so much for listening.